Hello, and welcome to Great Sleep. Get ready to listen and relax. Today I'm going to tell you a cozy bedtime story about walking through a rainy fall park on a cozy day. Raindrops danced on the leaves of trees, creating a gentle symphony that filled the air with a soothing melody. Mark Thompson, a young writer with a penchant for observing the world around him, stood under the shelter of a towering oak tree in the heart of the park. His eyes twinkled with delight as he watched people scurrying for cover, seeking refuge from the relentless rain. The park, usually bustling with activity, had transformed into a serene oasis. The gray sky cast a melancholic hue over the landscape, but Mark found beauty in the gloom. He believed that rain held a certain magic, a power to transform ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. As he stood there, his mind wandered, contemplating the wonders of everyday life. He marveled at how raindrops fell with purpose, each one contributing to the greater symphony of nature. It was in these moments, amidst the downpour, that Mark felt most alive. He believed that there was poetry in every droplet of rain, if one only took the time to listen. Lost in his thoughts, Mark decided to take a walk through the park, allowing himself to fully immerse in its beauty. The rain had transformed the landscape, turning it into a canvas of vibrant colors and subtle contrasts. The leaves, once lush and green, now wore shades of fiery reds, oranges, and yellows. As Mark strolled along the winding paths, he couldn't help but marvel at the transformation that had taken place. Each step brought him closer to a masterpiece created by nature itself. The trees stood tall, their branches reaching towards the heavens, as if trying to capture every drop of rain that fell. The ground was adorned with a carpet of fallen leaves, their rich hues creating a tapestry of autumnal beauty. Mark paused under a particularly striking tree, its branches stretching out like arms welcoming him into its embrace. He reached out and touched one of the leaves, feeling its delicate texture beneath his fingertips. It was as if he could feel the life force that had once coursed through it, now transformed into a vibrant display of color. He imagined stories hidden within the leaves, tales of love and loss, of seasons changing and life evolving. The park became a canvas for his imagination, each leaf a brushstroke, each raindrop a stroke of inspiration. As Mark continued his walk, he noticed the way the sunlight filtered through the mist, casting a soft glow on the park. It was as if nature had created its own ethereal light, illuminating every corner with a touch of magic. He couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder at the beauty that surrounded him. As Mark walked further into the park, he came across a group of children who seemed unaffected by the rain. They laughed and jumped in puddles with unbridled joy, their laughter echoing through the park. Their carefree attitude reminded Mark of his own childhood, when rain was not a hindrance but an invitation to play. He watched as they splashed and danced, their energy infectious. In their innocent revelry, he found a reminder that even in the simplest of moments, happiness could be found. Mark couldn't help but smile as he witnessed their uninhibited joy. He realized that these children had tapped into something precious, something that many adults have forgotten, the ability to find delight in the ordinary, to embrace the unexpected and make it their own. In their laughter, he found inspiration for his own writing, a reminder to infuse his words with the same sense of wonder. As he continued his walk, Mark spotted a particularly large puddle ahead. The children had gathered around it, their excitement palpable. Without hesitation, Mark joined them, stepping into the puddle and feeling the cool water seep into his shoes. For a moment, he was transported back to his own childhood, a time when rain held endless possibilities. He jumped and splashed alongside the children, their laughter mingling with the sound of raindrops. In that moment, he felt a sense of freedom and joy that he hadn't experienced in years. As Mark walked further into the park, he noticed couples huddled under umbrellas, seeking solace in each other's arms. Their gestures of affection were small but profound, a gentle touch, a shared smile, a whispered word. They stood as a testament to the power of love, even amidst the rain. Mark couldn't help but be moved by these displays of intimacy. He saw love as a force that could weather any storm, its warmth radiating through the dampness of the day. It was a reminder that even in the face of adversity, human connection could bring comfort and strength. He watched as couples walked hand in hand, their umbrellas forming a protective shield against the rain. It was in these moments that Mark realized how stories were born, in the unspoken words and stolen glances, in the quiet moments shared between two souls. Love, he thought, was a story waiting to be told. As Mark continued his walk, he spotted an elderly couple sitting on a bench, their hands intertwined. They seemed lost in their own world, oblivious to the rain around them. Mark couldn't help but be captivated by their presence, their love shining through their weathered faces. He approached them cautiously, not wanting to intrude on their private moment. But as he got closer, they looked up and smiled at him, their eyes filled with warmth and kindness. "It's a beautiful day for love, isn't it?" the old man said, his voice tinged with nostalgia. Mark nodded, touched by their words. "Yes, it is," he replied. "Love has a way of making even the rain seem beautiful." The couple chuckled, their laughter mingling with the sound of raindrops. "Indeed," the old woman said. "Love has a way of transforming everything it touches." Mark thanked them for sharing their wisdom and continued his walk, feeling a renewed sense of hope and inspiration. He realized that love was not just a fleeting emotion, but a force that could shape and transform lives. And in that moment, he vowed to capture its essence in his writing, to share its power with the world. After bidding farewell to the elderly couple, Mark continued his walk through the park. The mist had cleared, revealing a landscape washed clean by the rain. The trees stood tall and proud, their branches reaching towards the sky as if in celebration. Lost in his thoughts, Mark was startled by a voice that cut through the sound of rain. He turned to find a stranger standing beside him, a kind smile gracing their lips. "Quite a day for rain, isn't it?" the stranger said, their voice carrying a warmth that matched their smile. Mark nodded, appreciating the stranger's observation. "Yes, it is," he replied. "But there's something beautiful about it, don't you think? The way it transforms everything." The stranger's eyes sparkled with understanding. "Indeed," they said, "it's in moments like these that we can truly appreciate the world around us. The rain brings out a different kind of beauty, one that often goes unnoticed." Mark found himself drawn into a conversation with the stranger, their shared appreciation for the park and the rain forming an instant connection. They spoke of the way the raindrops glisten on the leaves, the way the sound of rain created a symphony of nature's own making. It was as if they were speaking a language only they understood, finding solace and inspiration in the simplest of things. As they continued their conversation, Mark couldn't help but notice the stranger's eyes. They were a deep shade of blue, reminiscent of the ocean on a clear day. He found himself captivated by their gaze, as if he could see the stories of 1,000 lifetimes reflected in them. The stranger introduced themselves as Emily, a fellow writer who shared Mark's love for observing the world. They spoke of their favorite books and authors, exchanging recommendations and insights. Mark felt a sense of kinship with Emily, as if they were kindred spirits brought together by the rain. After some time, the rain began to subside, leaving behind a mist that enveloped the park. Emily bid Mark farewell, their smile lingering in his mind long after they had gone. Mark stood there for a moment, taking in the stillness that followed the rain. He felt a renewed sense of inspiration and gratitude for the beauty that surrounded him. With Emily's words echoing in his mind, Mark decided to continue his walk through the park. The mist had cleared, revealing a landscape washed clean by the rain. The trees stood tall and proud, their branches reaching towards the sky as if in celebration. As Mark strolled along the winding paths, he couldn't help but marvel at the transformation that had taken place. Each step brought him closer to a masterpiece created by nature itself. The leaves, once lush and green, now wore shades of fiery reds, oranges, and yellows. The colors were vibrant and alive, painting a tapestry of autumnal beauty against the gray sky. Mark paused under a particularly striking tree, its branches stretching out like arms welcoming him into its embrace. He reached out and touched one of the leaves, feeling its delicate texture beneath his fingertips. It was as if he could feel the life force that had once coursed through it, now transformed into a vibrant display of color. He imagined stories hidden within the leaves, tales of love and loss, of seasons changing and life evolving. The park became a canvas for his imagination, each leaf a brushstroke, each raindrop a stroke of inspiration. As Mark continued his walk, he noticed the way the sunlight filtered through the mist, casting a soft glow on the park. It was as if nature had created its own ethereal light, illuminating every corner with a touch of magic. He couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder at the beauty that surrounded him. Lost in the beauty of the autumn colors, Mark found himself drawn to a clearing in the park. There, a small pond shimmered with raindrops, creating ripples that danced across its surface. The sound of rain falling on water filled the air, creating a symphony that seemed to echo through the trees. Mark sat down on a nearby bench, his eyes fixed on the mesmerizing dance of raindrops. Each droplet seemed to have a purpose, contributing to the greater symphony of nature. He marveled at how something as simple as rain could hold such power and beauty. As he listened to the raindrops fall, Mark felt a sense of peace wash over him. The worries and stresses of everyday life seemed to fade away, replaced by a deep appreciation for the present moment. He realized that in these moments of stillness, he could truly connect with the world around him. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves above him, as if nature itself was joining in the serenade of raindrops. Mark closed his eyes and let himself be enveloped by the sounds and sensations of the park. It was in these moments that he felt most alive, most connected to the world and its wonders. As the rain continued to fall, Mark found himself drawn to a secluded corner of the park. There, a row of tall trees stood like sentinels, their branches reaching towards the sky. The raindrops fell on the leaves, creating a delicate melody that filled the air. Mark stood there, his eyes fixed on the interplay of light and shadow. The gray sky cast a melancholic hue over the landscape, but Mark found beauty in the gloom. He believed that rain held a certain magic, a power to transform ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. He watched as the raindrops created patterns on the ground, their reflections dancing in puddles. The trees stood tall and proud, their branches swaying gently in the breeze. It was as if they were engaged in a silent dance, their movements synchronized with the rhythm of the rain. Mark couldn't help but be captivated by the dance of shadows that unfolded before him. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there was still beauty to be found. He realized that life was a delicate balance of light and dark, joy and sorrow. And it was in embracing both that one could truly appreciate the richness of existence. As Mark continued his walk through the park, he came across a small pond nestled among the trees. The raindrops created ripples on its surface, distorting the reflections of the surrounding landscape. Mark knelt down beside the pond, his gaze fixed on its ever-changing surface. He watched as the raindrops fell, creating concentric circles that spread outwards. Each drop seemed to hold a world of its own, reflecting the colors and shapes of its surroundings. Mark marveled at how something as simple as a raindrop could create such intricate patterns. As he stared into the pond, Mark saw his own reflection staring back at him. He studied his own face, noticing the lines that had formed over the years, the spark of inspiration in his eyes. He realized that just like the raindrops, he too held a world within him, a world of stories waiting to be told. In that moment, Mark made a silent promise to himself. He would not let his stories go untold. He would embrace the beauty of the world around him and infuse his words with the magic he had witnessed. He would be a reflection of the world, capturing its essence and sharing it with others. Returning home, Mark felt a surge of excitement and motivation. The rainy day in the park, with all its encounters and emotions, had sparked something within him. He knew that he had to capture this essence in his writing, to share the magic he had experienced with others. Sitting at his desk, Mark opened his notebook and began to write. He poured his thoughts onto the page, weaving a tapestry of words that painted a vivid picture of the park in the rain. He described the vibrant colors of autumn leaves against the gray sky, the joy of children jumping in puddles, and the tender moments shared by lovers under umbrellas. As he wrote, Mark felt a sense of purpose. He knew that his words had the power to transport readers to that rainy day in the park, to make them see and feel what he had seen and felt. It was a gift he cherished, a responsibility he embraced. In between paragraphs and sentences, Mark paused to reflect on the power of observation. He marveled at how the simplest of moments could hold profound meaning if one only took the time to notice. It was in the details, the way a raindrop clung to a leaf, the way a smile flickered across someone's face, that stories were born. Mark believed that as writers, it was their duty to pay attention, to be present in every moment. It was in these moments that inspiration struck, that stories unfolded before their eyes. He vowed to never take the world for granted, to always seek out the beauty in the ordinary. With each stroke of his pen, Mark embarked on a new beginning, one filled with gratitude, wonder, and an unwavering belief in the power of observation. He knew that there were stories waiting to be told, and he would be the one to tell them.